You know, um, when you picture a military conflict, it's usually just like a back and forth trading of fire.
Right, usually over borders.
Exactly. Violent, sure, but the parameters feel somewhat predictable. But today's deep dive into these new reports on the severe escalation between Israel and Iran, well, it throws predictability completely out the window.
Oh, absolutely.
And just to be clear right up front for you listening, these are highly charged political sources. We aren't here to take sides. We are just impartially reporting on the material, mapping out the facts, the tactical shifts, and the strategic goals presented to us.
Yeah, we're just looking at the raw strategy.
Right, because the big question here is, what happens when a military conflict mutates from just trading missile fire into the intentional systemic dismantling of a government's internal structure?
And that mutation, I mean, it really starts with a fundamental change in tactics on the ground. Iran recently launched ballistic missiles at the Tel Aviv area, but they didn't use standard warheads. They used cluster munitions.
Oh, wow, and that strike killed an elderly couple, right?
Yeah.
Bringing the total number of Israeli deaths from Iranian attacks to 14.
Exactly. And the sources detail that this was direct retaliation. It was for Israel assassinating two massive figures in Iran: top National Security Advisor Ali Larijani and the Basi militia leader Ghulam Reza Soleimani.
But the cluster munitions, it's not just an angry escalation. The reports indicate it's a tactic born out of sheer necessity.
Right, because Israel has reportedly destroyed roughly 70% of Iran's ballistic missile launchers, and they basically obliterated their air defense capacities.
So they literally can't fire massive barrages anymore.
No, the hardware is just gone. So they've pivoted. They are taking single ballistic missiles and equipping them with up to 80 cluster submunitions, and they're coordinating with proxy strikes from Hezbollah to try and overwhelm Israeli air defenses.
It's kind of like a chess slayer who has lost all their major pieces.
That is a great way to put it.
The launchers are gone. So now they're relying on these coordinated, widespread pawn movements, using the submunitions and proxy forces just to bypass whatever defenses they can.
Yeah, it's a desperate tactical workaround, and it's a direct result of Israel's broader strategy here, which is disintegrating the Iranian regime from the inside out.
Right, targeting the connective tissue.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to Larijani.
Exactly. Larijani wasn't just an advisor. He was the regime's connective tissue, maintaining cohesion between really divided factions.
Like the IRGC and the broader civilian government.
Precisely. But here's the crucial detail from the reports. He was also secretly orchestrating behind-the-scenes negotiations with the U.S.
Wait, really? So, the implication there is staggering.
It is.
By killing Larijani, did Israel intentionally spoil the chances for a diplomatic ceasefire just so they could achieve their far-reaching military objectives?
Well, the sources strongly suggest that by eliminating him, the diplomatic off-ramp was actively removed. And with back-channel diplomacy literally eliminated, the ceiling on this conflict has totally vanished.
Which has to be terrifying for the Gulf states looking on.
Oh, they are caught in an incredibly precarious position. The Gulf states desperately want to avoid a broader regional war.
But they hold zero sympathy for the assassinated Iranian leaders.
None at all. These are the same leaders who previously crushed domestic protests in Iran and, directly targeted Gulf infrastructure in recent years. So they are terrified of the instability, but they aren't mourning the people who caused it.
And that instability is only going to grow. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu explicitly warned that operations aren't finished.
He did. He even suggested that Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, is a potential target. So anyone stepping into Larijani's shoes effectively faces a death sentence.
Wow. So for you listening, the core takeaway from all these sources is that you are watching a real-time masterclass in how targeted military assassinations are used to force total political disintegration.
Yeah, it's an intentional dismantling from the inside out.
Exactly. Which leaves us with a pretty provocative thought to mull over. If an entire regime's political, clerical, and defense leadership is successfully eliminated, what kind of unpredictable decentralized factions might rise from the ashes to fill that vacuum?